Sleeve EV here, and it's not quite time for an update yet. That's in 2 days, but I wanted to do a video. I think I'm going to start doing 2 videos a week because I feel like I have so much more to say that I can't fit it all in, and I want to keep doing my updates and talking about eating, but there's a few other topics that I want to talk about that I can talk about anytime. And so I'm going to try to do those on Wednesdays or at some point during the week. So tonight, what I wanted to talk about is why I chose to have surgery in Mexico. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, and the majority of them I've watched, they've had surgery here in the States. And I just want to start by saying this is not to offend anyone that has had their surgery in the States. I can only speak from my experience, and that's what I want to do. And the number one reason is very simple. I have no insurance. So having the surgery here was not an option. It was either Mexico or no surgery. That's why, honestly, I never even thought surgery was an option for me, because I knew I didn't have insurance and I knew I couldn't afford. I've heard different prices, but I'd heard from $11,000 to $18,000 for vertical sleeve gastrectomy here in the United States. And there's absolutely no way that I could have ever done that. So I kind of put surgery out of my mind, knowing that there was no way I could do it. And so then when I heard about this group of women from my hometown that had been to Mexico, and it was almost half the cost, that piqued my interest a lot. And I started asking questions, and I've done a video on the schedule in Mexico and how everything happened. But that's the main reason. It's a lot cheaper. And once I found out about Dr. Verbunen and did research on him and found, I want to say 17 years, it might even be more, honestly, so many surgeries, so many years of experience that he had, I just felt like that's what was important. The surgeon that would be performing my operation, as long as I trusted him, then that's what was important. It didn't matter where I was at. And so then I started looking into cost comparison, things like that. My mom and aunt have insurance, and their insurance does not cover it. I know some insurance covers if you have problems, if you have, maybe severe diabetes. I don't know all the qualifications because, like I said, I don't have insurance. I am a Native American, and I have a tribal card, so I do have health care. As far as, like, if something happens, I do have a doctor. I have a family doctor. My baby has a doctor. So we are covered in that sense, but in traditional insurance, we do not have it. And so that was the number one reason. And if I did have insurance and it would pay for this surgery, there's no doubt that that's what I would have done, because it was no money out of my pocket if you have insurance. But what I will say about the Mexico process is you don't jump through the hoops that you do in the U.S. process, as far as a psychiatric evaluation, a 6-month diet. I know there's several testing, and they do test when you get to Mexico, as far as to make sure you're okay with the EKG and the x-rays and the blood work. So it's not like anything goes unturned. It's just not as rigorous. Again, I can only speak from my experience and the experience I've heard of from people in the U.S. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. From the experiences I've heard, personally, not on YouTube, because I've heard great experience on YouTube, but I feel like I had better care. And here's why. A lot of people in the U.S. stay one night, and maybe that's okay. But I needed 2 nights, and that's what you do in Mexico, at least with Dr. Verbunen. You stay 2 nights. And I just feel like there's not the rush, because you're not dealing with the insurance company. The insurance company dictates what they want to pay and what they think you need. Wherein when I was in Mexico with Dr. Verbunen, he dictated what I needed and what was best for me, and it wasn't about who's paying or anything like that. And I'll just be very honest with you. Through the process, I thought there's no way we could do this. And actually, we as a family, decided that we refinanced a vehicle. And that sounds extreme, maybe to some, but, and to some, this surgery is extreme. But for me to have a complete life change, I knew I needed something extreme. So that's a decision everyone has to make if they're able to come up with the money. But I just decided it's worth anything to add years to my life. It's worth anything to be healthy for my baby that I have now. And it's worth anything to be healthy for my next and so on children, however many I may have. And that was one question I asked the doctor is, would I be able to get pregnant? And he actually said, I'll be healthier next time. There's no question about that. And that some women actually do the surgery to get pregnant. And that was just wonderful news, of course, because that's what I want. I mean, we plan on having more kids. So anyway, like I said, it was definitely about insurance. But if you are thinking about having surgery, like I said, my doctor does perform surgery in Tijuana or Cancun. I chose Cancun. Tijuana is $1,000 cheaper. So anyway, I just wanted to address that because some people, when they hear Mexico, they think, oh my gosh, but after everything I've heard, I almost feel like I had better care while I was there. And like I said, that's not to knock on anyone or to say that the U.S. doctors don't know what they're doing. Of course not. I don't mean anything like that. Just my experience was so great in Mexico that it is a good alternative for those of you that are like me, that having the surgery without insurance, you knew that wasn't a possibility for you. So that's why I did it. And that's really what I want to talk about this week. And we will do stats in 2 days. I've been doing my weights like I promised myself that I would do. And so here's hoping to a good week, but I will talk to everyone Friday. Thanks.